After receiving a distressing call from an informant, federal agents Aaron Falk and Carmen Cooper head deep into the Jiralang Ranges to investigate the whereabouts of their corporate whistleblower Alice after she mysteriously disappears on a company hiking retreat. When 4 more women from that retreat are recovered from the bush, each seem to be hiding something about their traumatic experience. As Falk and Cooper close in on the case, they uncover worrying details about the connections between these women and begin to fear for the safety of their missing informant as a storm threatens to halt the search. The Force of Nature, The Dry 2, is now available on DVD and Blu-ray.
Welcome back to Little Cuts, our weekly mini-sode where we dig into the things that we've been watching recently. I'm Terry.
And I'm Mary Beth, and this week we are talking Succession, but make it Gen Z, a new Terminator, watching funny people do pointless things, 30 Rock's worst joke, yes it is, and surprising cameos.
Yep.
It is in fact 30 Rock's worst joke. And guess what, y'all? Besides 30 Rock, I was going to talk about something else, sorry.
No, go, please.
My movie has its world premiere in less than a week. That's fucking nuts, isn't it? I just wanted to say that. And if you're going to be in Cincinnati for Horror Hound, come see it. And I'm also doing a panel on Saturday morning at 11 about subverting genre tropes in indie filmmaking, which is exciting. And
that's cool.
if you're in Philly on the 27th, my movie's also playing then at 6:30 p.m. as part of Philadelphia Unnamed Footage Festival.
Oh, nice.
Yay! And I'll be on a panel at that one too.
Oh, nice.
Come say hi and tell me you liked it, and don't tell me if you didn't like it. Keep that to yourself.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm a filmmaker. That's fucking weird, baby.
That's wild. I'm so proud of you.
Anyway, I just wanted to... I'm trying to be better with the self-promo. So this is me.
It's hard.
Trying to be better about that. Yeah, no, it sucks. I'm posting a lot about it on social media, and every time I lose a follower, I'm like, is it because of that? And I'm just like, no, fuck, who cares? So yeah, that's fun. That's a fun headspace to be in. But I just have to get over it. Anyway, that aside, what is I think I know what this is, but I want a confirmation of Succession, but make it Gen Z.
Yeah, so this is a show that's on Max, and it's one that it's proof that streaming places should not cancel shows early. I'm looking at you, Netflix, and I'm very angry about Dead Boy Detectives because you canceled it after 1 season, and you got to let things grow. And this is a show I had never heard about that premiered in 2020 called Industry. The third, have you watched it at all?
I'm not caught up, but it is so fucking good, and the lead girl is goddamn is a revelation.
Bodies,
anyway,
bodies,
sorry.
bodies.
Yes!
Bodies.
This is like an unsung gem that I'm so glad you're I feel like you, like with the Apple Plus shit. It's like, I haven't caught up, but I just absolutely...
I'm not caught up either.
I've only watched the first season, but
I'm on the second season.
It's like the most stressful thing I've ever watched in my entire life. And it starts off that way. Like,
yeah.
Literally, there's an episode where she chews off part of her tongue. Anyway, sorry. It's just like such a good show. Continue.
Yeah.
We should probably
really
talk about what it actually is.
So, Industry is a show about a graduating class of young adults who are trying to get into the financial world in London, and they're applying for they're working at this place called Pure Point, which is a big like financial banking type thing, and I don't know finance, but it's like a financial situation where they are basically like interns, and they have to try to make it past the first RIF or reduction in force that is going to happen and cut the majority of the young adults out of playing, and the other people are trying to basically get a permanent job here at Pure Point. And this place is toxic AF, which fits for what it is. And we follow mostly the exploits of Harper, played by, I don't even want to try to pronounce the actress's name because I don't want to murder
Myala. I think it's Myhala.
it. Myala?
I
Okay.
believe so. I'm so sorry if it's wrong. Oh, she's so good.
She's so good. She's so good.
Her in
She is
everything.
right? She's an American who is moved to London. She was kind of headhunted by Ken Leong's Eric Tao. Ken Leong, of course, from Saw fame and a bunch of Lost as well, a bunch of things.
He was really gross in Searching.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God, I forgot.
He was the boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. I forgot about that. But yeah, so she's one of the interns trying to make it there in a very cutthroat industry. She's kind of joined by Yasmin, played by Marissa Abela, and Robert Spearing, played by this man is so attractive to me, Harry Lauti.
Oh,
he is
yeah. It's a lot of hot young people in this show, let's just put it that way.
This I heard someone describe it as like Euphoria, the like missing piece between Euphoria and Succession. And while I don't think it necessarily goes as far as Euphoria, I can understand the kind of connection there. This is a very sexy show. There's a lot of sexy moments in this show, including one moment where Robert is told to lick up his own cum. So like this show is like has plenty of nudity.
It's very Succession, but like in the finance world with everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people are single, and it's a really really good look at like cutthroat life in the finance industry. I don't have much connection to the finance world. I know people who are in it, and like this same. Is I don't know if this is necessarily like a great depiction or like a good depiction, but it's definitely stressful. Like,
oh, incredibly.
It's one of those shows that's a really good example of how you make something that is that's seemingly mundane as like trading, like stock trading, and make it feel like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job with character development, especially with Harper's character, and it's also really there's a lot of people of color in this show too, like pretty effortlessly in it. Oh my god, your cat is so cute. So it's just like, and it's just really well written, and again, it's got a lot of really amazing leads and young actors in it. And David Johnson is in.
David Johnson, yes.
Who was in Alien Romulus. So if you want to see him in an actually good role, I'm sorry, he was great in the movie.
Mary Beth, Brat Summer is over.
As Tony and I talked about, it is Ethel Cain Fall, aka Freezer Bride Fall. So I am still allowed to be a bitch. Now I just wear the hat backwards all the time, and I look a little bit more butch than I usually do.
I do like your hat backwards, by the way.
Thank you. I did not want to wash my hair today, and I had to go run errands. So this was the solution. But thank you for bringing this back onto my radar to finish watching, because I know I've been seeing people post about how good the third season is, and it's just like consistently such a good fucking show. Like it's really easy to binge because it goes it's a fast paced show.
That's so. I was on vacation. I took a mental health week last week, and that's why I don't have a whole lot to talk about this week, because I basically binged this show.
Hell yeah.
As well as binged Rings of Power, which I talked about last week. So I binged that in the first half. I binged this in the second half. I had to take breaks because it's intense.
It's intense.
An intense show.
It's a lot. Because they're all going through like so much shit in this show too. Like it's not easy. Like lots of content warnings, because it is a really heavy show. It deals with a lot. So like look into it before you start watching it, because it is heavy. It's good, but it can be really heavy with some of this stuff that it's like tackling.
Yeah. And the third season is currently airing right now. And again, I had no idea this show even existed. We're on the third season now, and God, I honestly think it's probably because of the fact that it's a co-production with BBC is the reason why it probably has gotten a chance to sort of like find its audience in America, because I honestly don't think if this was a Max only show that we would have lasted past a season, because I'd never heard of this show, and I'm pretty in tune with what's going on television, and I didn't even know about this one.
Yeah, this is I feel special to know about this before you. I'm gonna treasure this.
I know I'm usually the one bringing up the most random shows that
I know.
I'm watching on television.
Well,
but
I'm almost bringing up a show today too.
I know I'm
TV.
excited for the one that you're. Yeah, but yeah. So go watch it if you want to have an intense but fantastic time.
Yes.
And see some really sexy people doing sexy things and being terrible to each other.
Yeah.
Put it on the poster.
Put it on the poster.
Keeping the television thing running, which is this entire episode is just television. I'm just now realizing. Let's talk about a new Terminator. I'm very excited to hear about this. I'm very excited to watch it.
Yeah. So this week, Steve actually took a week off, and we binged in the evenings the new Terminator show on Netflix, the animated Terminator show, Terminator Zero. It is 8 episodes. I don't believe it's a limited series. It ends in a way that could be like it could continue if they would like it to, or it can be also wrapped up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But this takes place in 1997, right before Judgment Day, and also in the future. And essentially...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was dual.
It switches back and forth, yeah. Especially in the beginning. Basically, Malcolm Lee, who is voiced by Andre Holland, who has been in a plethora of things, including The Nick, if anyone watched The Nick, which I really love, with Clive Owen. What else has he been in that people would have seen besides my niche weird show? He was in Moonlight. He was in Selma. He's been in a lot of shit. But he voices... Oh, he was Marin's dad in Bones and All, like her dad at the beginning, if anyone remembers that. But anyway, he's the voice of Malcolm Lee, who's a scientist who's developing a technology that he wants to basically counteract Skynet and save humanity. And this is 8 episodes where he and his while he is trying to do this on the dawn of Judgment Day, as Terminator comes from the future to basically kill him and his kids. And also someone else comes from the future. So there's like a lot of that usual Terminator shit of like someone coming from the future to fuck with the past, but this show also kind of talks about the futility of that in a really interesting way, and kind of like references the idea that like this is such a fucked up cycle that we're in terms of like sending people to the past to change things, and things are still kind of fucked. And it all takes place in Tokyo. And I am not as well versed in like the Terminator lore, so like I didn't really have any. I've seen them, but I like. If you are a Terminator, you don't have to like really be a Terminator fan, I think, to appreciate this, because it's sort of its own thing. It's sort of I don't really know anything with the lore, so like I didn't really care with what was not right in terms of like timeline in the movies, but I
mean, let's be honest. After like the first 2, the timeline gets so weird anyway. So, oh gosh.
Yeah. So, cat chaos. But yeah, so this one kind of ignores the other continuities, but also like it kind of addresses that a little bit later. But I love it. I really loved it. It's 8 episodes, and each episode is 23 minutes long, so it's really easy to watch really fast. The animation style is beautiful. And, you know, Timothy Olyphant is the voice of the Terminator in this one.
Oh, really?
He has, like, 2 lines, though, so, like, I was like, oh, cool! Sonoya Mizuno, who is in a lot of Alex Garland stuff. She was in Devs. She was in Ex Machina. She's one of the voice actors as well. And Ann Dowd is also voices a character. And Ann Dowd was famously the scary old woman in Hereditary, who was from the cult.
And Leftovers, right? She was in Leftovers.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of familiar things in Terminator Zero, but I love the animation style. It's really brutal. Like, it is bloody. Bloody. I hope they make more of that. Like, I hope there's more to come, because I think they're establishing a really interesting, like, thing here. When it ends, it's like something, it's different. Like, there's a lot of, like, go into this feeling similar to most Terminator stuff, and then you leave with something that could be very interesting if they continue on. So, that's Terminator Zero. All 8 episodes are currently on Netflix. It's a really easy watch. And again, this is just, like, I love that Netflix is picking up these, like, animated, like, extensions of things, because as people who listen to this podcast know, I love animation, and I think animation is, like, the perfect medium for horror and the perfect way to tell new stories in horror, because there aren't as many limitations. Like, it's so simple. Right. You can do such fucked up cool stuff. Like, just watch Scavenger's Reign. It's on Netflix. Like, it's just so cool. I
still need to watch that.
Yeah, you do. So, just to see Terminator turn into something both familiar but unique, especially through the medium of animation, I think is just, like, another testament to the cool power for this medium to tell such, like, wild sci-fi stories.
Oh yeah. I'm excited. I want to watch it. I have, like, added too much TV to my queue right now, but
it just hit Netflix last week too, so it's brand
on
new.
Judgment Day, right?
It did. Yep, it hit on Judgment Day. So when they said it's August 30th, I go, it's the date. I was like, they did it. I was Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
You were Leo?
I was Leo. So yeah, it's gnarly, it's good. Highly recommend, especially even if you don't like the Terminator stuff, you'll still like it if you are into anime.
Heck yeah. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, watching funny people do pointless things. Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
So this is a show I honestly cannot remember if I've talked about this show at any point on the podcast, or if that's a false memory. I started to, like, doubt myself as I was, like, picking this one. I am obsessed with Taskmaster.
Okay.
Have you ever watched any of the Taskmasters?
Like, clips. I have never watched a full episode. I am fully aware of it. I have many friends who are very, very focused on this show. So I'm very excited to hear how like your love of this, but I have not watched a full episode. I do know
Purpurina asked which one.
Chat about which one. Yeah, and I have heard many different opinions about the best ones.
I started with NZ, New Zealand. That was what first grabbed my attention, because it showed up on my TikTok, a couple clips, and I was like, this is amazing. I have to watch this. So I started with New Zealand. There's, like, a ton of them now. Like, there's a US one that lasted for a season, and I've heard bad things about it. Haven't watched it. There's an Australian one now that's 2 seasons deep. And I really want to watch the second season of it, because Josh Thomas of Please Like Me is one of the contestants on it. So I really want to watch that new season. I've started watching the UK one, the original one that started it all. But New Zealand is, on a whole, my favorite. However, I had started watching it, and then I got Cass, my roommate, into watching it, and so we watched a whole lot of it last week. We binged.
How do you watch? Where do you watch it? A whole lot.
So it's kind of difficult. There's a huge community that keeps, like, uploading them onto YouTube. And I believe that there is a Taskmaster account that does show some old seasons of Taskmaster. I signed up for Taskmaster Super Max, I think is what it's called, or something like that. And it's a streaming service that has, like, all the seasons of the UK, most of the seasons of NZ, the first season of Australia, and then all the other foreign language ones. There's one in Portugal. I think there's one from Germany. There's like, so it has like a ton of them. And it's like, it was like really cheap. I think it's like $5 a month or something like that. But Taskmaster is, I've been talking about it. I haven't even said what it's about for those that don't know. Taskmaster is about a taskmaster and his assistant. They get 5 each season is 5 yes Purpurina. Taskmaster Yost would be successful. Dropout did it. I also think it'd be more successful now than back when they did it. And I also questioned the guests they had the first season, but that's neither here nor there. So 5 comedians, actors, someone in the funny industry come on the show.
Sorry.
They start out like months before coming to this Taskmaster's ranch where they basically perform really ridiculous funny industry. Are you in the funny industry? Yeah. So months
are you
before,
in the scary industry? That's what I'm gonna start asking people when I go to cons and shit.
Yes.
Like, are you in the scary industry?
Are you in the funny industry?
Are you in the funny industry or the scary industry?
Scary. Five people in the funny industry in like months ago filmed these tasks that the Taskmaster has given them. And then the show is a live recording with an audience of them, like kind of going over the stunts, going over the things that they did, and awarding points to get basically a gold-plated head of the Taskmaster as an award. It's very low stakes, but like it's really silly. And some of the tasks that they had to do is there's one of my favorites that's like really simple to explain. Is that it's called hopscotch or something like that, and it's basically a table full of little shots of scotch and a hopscotch, and they're supposed to get as much of that into a bucket in the allotted time. And so to watch how like the comedians will tackle it, whether they're like pouring them in their mouth and then hopscotching and spitting them out in the bucket, or one person tries to take the entire table and hopscotch over and pour it in. Like, it's so dumb. They're so menial. It makes fun of like the game shows that are out there. One of them is like making a movie in which they're like a horror movie. One is they have to marry someone and one of the contestants marries her hand and then has to get divorced from her hand and uses a knife to like chop it off. Like, it's just really silly out there stuff. And there's usually like a loophole or something where like someone will go like, well, the instructions say this, but it doesn't say I can't do this. And so then they will try to like circumvent the system to do things in a way that is not expected. And it's just really silly and fun. And the contestants are really great. The season that we just binged is actually my favorite season of all of them, even though it's not my favorite of the series. It is my favorite season, and it is season 16. Yes, it's been going on for a very long time, of the UK one, because we have Sue Perkins, who people might remember is one of the hosts of the original hosts of the British baking show. Lucy Beaumont, who I'd never heard of before, but is like this wacky blonde woman that just says the most off the wall things. Like one of the first task of every episode involves people bringing in something to fit a theme, and she brings in this little piece of metal that she says was in her mom's ear that was put there by an alien. Like, she tells this incredible story, and it's so wild. That season also has Susan Wokoma, who was in Enola Holmes. She was in Crazy Head. She's really funny, and there's one guy, Julian Clary, who calls himself, he's a self-professed aging homosexual. And it's very funny people doing very stupid and funny things. But season 16, cast-wise, is my favorite cast of any of the shows, even though New Zealand's Taskmaster is my favorite. But you can watch some of them on YouTube. Like I said, I pay for...
So, is each season, is it the same cast and they all do the same, it's in the same cast each episode, or is it
Each episode, yes, each episode for an entire season is the same 5 cast members, and
Okay.
they basically are trying to throughout the season get the most points to win the Taskmaster's gold-plated head.
Oh, okay. I have it. I'm trying to look at part of it with no sound on, so I have absolutely no fucking idea what's going on. So that's good. I just like see this giant gold head, and I'm just like, okay,
Yep.
that must be the trophy.
It absolutely is. But yeah,
Right.
I think the
Neat.
show is great. It is very. I have laughed so hard at this show at just some of the ridiculousness that is on display, and it's an easy show to just. There's no stakes. Like they're literally just playing to win a fucking plaster sculpture of the dude's head.
The New
Like,
Zealand
that's it.
Taskmaster is pretty hot.
Yeah. And his assistant is even hotter. I love Paul Williams, the assistant. He just is. He's so cute. He's so cute. But yeah, it's a fun show. I think you can probably find most of the episodes on YouTube if you dig hard enough. But I've signed up for the $5 a month. Yeah, and TikTok does a lot of clips. That's how I found out about it. Was TikTok. But yeah, Taskmaster, hilarious. If you want to start with a really good season, UK season 16, fantastic. Season 1 or 2 of New Zealand, also like some of my favorite. But yeah, I think it's great.
Do you ever have like everything on dark mode and then you go to something that's not in dark mode and then you blind
And it's
yourself?
like,
Because that just happened to me. I was looking at all my shit on dark mode and then I went to the dock and I was like, Jesus Christ, the sun!
I know, it's like I have everything on dark mode and then I go to Google Docs and it's like I have like a ring light shining light
I
on
know,
me
it's
just
like,
because
hi
of it.
everyone! Oh my god. But yes, okay. I have heard many a good thing about Taskmaster, so maybe that'll be I've almost watched all of the Housewife franchises, so I need something new to watch.
It is one
Unless
of
I
those
just
things you
watch
can have on in the background. You can watch it. You can just like however you want to deal with it. Like it's just there and it's good. And there's so many seasons, particularly of the UK. I mean, season 18 is starting in like this month, I think.
Sweet.
Purpurita
Okay.
says cried laughing at some of the stuff before. Yes, I have too. I have gotten coughed so much laughed so much that I've started coughing. Like just it's so ridiculous and funny, and my kind of humor. All right. I had to apologize to Mary Beth before she watched this episode because here's the thing. I watch most of these now like when I'm falling asleep, and so I will tend to like forget what episodes things come in because they all just sort of blur together. And boy oh boy did 30 Rock season 5 episode 1 start out with a really really terrible joke.
Yeah, it's not really even it's just not even a joke.
It's just no, it's gross.
It's mostly
gross.
just rape. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not good.
I was like,
it's not good.
There it is, because you warned me, and I was like, that can't be it. That can't. And then it happened. I was like, oh, yep, there it is. I was like, yeah, I knew it right away.
Yeah, but that aside.
Yep. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. Oh yeah. Weird show. Anyway, this is the return. This is the season 5, season premiere of where we are back into it with a mustachioed / bearded Alec Baldwin who won't shut up about all the sex he had over the summer, which is pretty gross.
This episode has a lot of sex in it.
There's a lot of sex in this episode. Like, there's a lot of sex in this show, but this is just, like, a lot of Alec Baldwin talking about how he has sex with Elizabeth Banks' character. And then also Pete being the worst person I've ever seen. Yeah. But also Jenna wearing a shirt that says business slut, and I need one of those. Post haste.
Yes!
Post haste, I require a business slut shirt because the fact that she becomes a producer, this is the episode where it's Liz Lemon's birthday, no one remembers, and also it's the 5-year anniversary. It's like the 5th season, no one ever thought it would make it this far. which is like this, a silly little meta jab, and it's the 5th season of 30 Rock and the 5th season of TGS, and they've made it this far, and all the shit changed where Jenna has now become a producer, and you have to make eye contact with her. But the joke really is that Jenna's a bad bitch producer. And I loved that. I was obsessed with that. I was like, wait, I love this. I love Jenna.
Can we fire Pete and keep Jenna as a producer?
I'll take a pay cut. Fire Liz.
I just love that, like, because they're trying to cut costs because they're trying to be lucrative again with another meta thing to be lucrative for the buyout from Cabletown, aka Charter. Right? Charter? Isn't Charter the one that bought them?
Please don't ask me to remember any of that information. I will never remember. I don't remember which white man billionaire bought the other white man billionaire.
Yep, basically. But her first thing is like they're trying to cut costs, and she's like, "We should fire Grace from wardrobe." And it turns out Grace has been there since the Jack Parr show, and she's this old little woman that is like, not maybe performing. But
you will have benefits until the end of this sentence. Or this statement, and then just like, and Pete's like, "Oh, she's a bitch," and it's like, finally, Jenna being a freak is benefiting them, and she actually is just like a cutthroat producer. Oh my god! But I was dying when he was explaining. It's like some fake credit, like executive producer, and I was like, "Hey, I was executive producer on something, and I contributed a lot to that." So it just made me laugh because I mean, like, that is like it's such a silly, like, weird, dumb differentiating of like titles of it's so arbitrary and dumb. So that it just made me laugh because I have fully been on that end of like, what does this even mean? Like, what do these words even mean? So anyway, great. I love when I watch this stupid show and I'm like, hi, I'm an adult and I understand exactly actually what they're talking about. How weird. And also, I love nothing more than Liz Lemon just wanting to have a guy that she sees once a month and never stays in her apartment.
Me.
She's just a simple woman, and like, she's a little like, the more the show goes on, the more I'm like, Liz kind of sucks. But I think that's kind of the point. But like, she sucks. Like, especially in the next episode we talk about, like, she just like has some tendencies that are just kind of shitty, and like, that's the point. She's like a kind of a curmudgeon old woman, but even though she's not, she's just like so set in her ways. And poor Matt Damon. This is my favorite. Now I know where this. I always quote this moment. Like, don't cry, even though I've never seen it. Now I know where it's from, so that's great.
Honestly, the one reason why I picked this episode was because of that. Was that meme? Honestly,
it's just. I just love Liz Lemon is such a great female character to be, even though like she sucks.
She sucks, but
also
like,
highly
if you think
relatable.
about the time. Right, she's very relatable, but if you think about the time, like, the fact that we have a character that sucks like this, that's a woman on television, is great. Like, more messy women, please. Like, it was a big thing.
Because at the time, it was like, The Office was on.
The Office, like, Parks and Recreation.
The main characters in The Office, they weren't, none of them were like that. And then Leslie Knope was like so nice. Like, everyone was so nice in that show. So there wasn't really like, she's like the dirtbag that follows Julie Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld. Fuck. Elaine, yeah. Like, it's like Elaine, and then I feel like it goes to Liz Lemon.
Mm-hmm.
And then now there's more of that, but it was very kind of new to have such a weird ass single lady being so weird on television, and I love that.
The one thing, like, in hindsight, yeah, she really is. I think the one thing in hindsight.
Sorry, anyway.
She is. No, she is like. There was like an article, and it was about the fact that like the feminism of this show is like white woman feminism. And I was like, that's kind of the. I think that's kind of the point. Like, it's kind of making fun of this kind of person. But like, the article was like basically condemning the show because it was white woman feminism, and it's like, I think that's kind of the point, particularly as the show gets on in like these last few seasons, is really like poking holes in this person. I really do think that.
No, I can see that though. Like, it's hard because I feel like Tina Fey to me like sometimes is very white feminism. So like,
Oh,
so
absolutely.
it's hard to tell sometimes like what is on purpose and what is like we're watching now. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard, and you have a different perspective because you've been watching it way longer than I have. I'm just like, what was? But a lot of it does feel intentional. Like I will give like the writers credit. Like a lot of it does feel very intentional, if not maybe a little bit mean spirited. But it definitely
very
feels
mean-spirited.
like intentional. But not like well intentioned. Even though if it was intentional,
No.
it was not well intentioned.
I mean,
you know, like
I'll be honest, there are still some jokes in here. I mean, this episode is clearly one of them that like even back then is like and now is like even more ugh. So like I'm not saying it's perfect, absolutely.
yeah, oh
but
yeah,
like
absolutely.
but I do think, particularly as we get to one of my favorite episodes this season a little bit later, I do think that the show sort of pokes holes in this idea of what Liz Lemon represents.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I can see that. I do have to ask though, if given the choice between pube shirt or being alone, would you rather wear a shirt of Steve's pubes or be alone?
Wear a shirt of his
What, was that shirt of pubes?
yes.
That's true love.
I'd wear
That's
a
true
shirt of
love.
his pubes.
That is true love.
Make it a crop top so it's like more like a bra, so at least I can like wear it under stuff. You know what I mean? So I can like hide it. Just sometimes, not all the time. Just sometimes. Switch it up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gross. Absolutely fucking foul. Jesus Christ, what a weird fucking television show this is. Like, it just like oscillates between just like really interesting humor to just like fucking gross. It's just very like so. And this actually is a good transition into the next episode, which is the live episode, because it does not work as well in the live format. I will say it was very interesting to see how this kind of this worked. So this next episode was the live show, which was a pain in my ass to find to watch because it's not on Peacock. They don't have it on Peacock.
They don't? They don't have this one on Peacock?
No. So I was just like, oh, fuck, this is the live episode. And then, like, I couldn't remember my Hulu. Apparently that Hulu is a My Disney account. Shit, I guess I haven't logged into Hulu in such a long time that I didn't realize I had to have a different account instead of just a Hulu account. And I was like, a My Disney account. Now Disney owns everything. So I just found it on the internet somewhere. Because
so
I
just want to make sure this was the season 5 live show, right? Because there's 2 live shows, and one of them is no longer on the internet because it has a character in blackface.
Oh, well, there was something. No, there was. It fit within like the narrative. I thought of the season.
Okay, so you saw
Start talking about it, and then maybe we'll see if I watch
Okay.
it.
It's her 40th birthday.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. That's
all right. Because I just want to make sure, since you had to go look for it, because I want to make sure that you watch this one and not the season 6 episode that is no longer, it has been scrubbed from pretty much everywhere because of blackface.
Oh, well, this one was also scrubbed from Peacock, at least. Very weird.
That is so weird. Do you remember which one you ended up getting to see? Was it West Coast or was it East Coast? Because they filmed 2 live that night.
Yeah, you told me. I have no idea which one I watched.
So good clue is for the 30 Rock theme song, who sang?
Jenna.
Okay, so you saw the other one. The one that is on Hulu is the West Coast one that has different jokes than the East Coast one.
Oh.
The West Coast one that is on Hulu for some reason. I don't know why they don't have both, but the West Coast one has Danny singing the opening song.
Oh.
And there's a couple jokes that are a little bit different.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. Well, I saw, yeah. Oh yeah, this was the 40th birthday one. Again, I watched them back to back, so like they run together in my head. So I'm like, they're all the same thing. Okay, so this is the one where Rachel Dratch is it's also, she's the cleaning lady who loves Fonzie.
Funny enough, like Rachel Dratch has like side characters throughout this. She was actually the Blue Man. She was the Blue Man.
Yes, I know she was the Blue Man.
But she was originally going to be Jenna. Like they filmed a pilot.
Oh, that's right.
With her as Jenna.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this with the Blue Man, I think, or something. I don't know. I just know we've talked about that.
Yeah, but yeah. So she is Yadriga, the cleaning lady, obsessed with Fonzie. It is also her birthday. People didn't realize it's Liz Lemon's birthday. They got a cake for Yadriga and a card for Yadriga, but no one.
I was so angry on her behalf.
At her what?
I was angry on her behalf.
Oh, yeah. It's a big birthday, too.
Her boyfriend didn't know, but, like, oh, look, they started dating. That one, I'm like, that one I will give a pass to. Because if she didn't mention it beforehand, how was he to know?
Yeah.
But everyone else, and, like, okay, this is, like, when this episode was the one where I was like, Liz Lemon's really, like, she makes a really racist joke, or they write a really racist joke about her, like a Slumdog Millionaire joke about Jack's assistant, which is like super not okay. And he's like, and so he's retaliating against her and took her fucking birthday out of Jack's calendar. And you know what? Good for him, because that's fucking gross. Like that is like
you got 100% the more
racist. I got like that's 100%. Was that not in yours?
So the one in mine is also racist, but it's not as mean-spirited. She calls him Aladdin and says you need to go rescue Jasmine from Jafar. Like,
this one she gets
I know.
Joey Louis-Dreyfus who plays Liz Lemon, like when they said when they do flashbacks, they have, because it's live, they cut to Julia, what? Yeah, can't get that one out. But she makes this terrible Slumdog Millionaire joke, and I was like, wait, I rewound. I was like, wait, that's disgusting. No wonder he took her fucking. I was like, good for him. Like, fuck you, Liz Lemon. Like, what kind of rude shit is that? Who do you think you are?
I know. Oh,
it was just stinky. Sorry, I just.
No, it is. Ugh. It is. You're absolutely right. It is, and I always forget that that's the other joke, because even though, the Aladdin one is not great, but I always, because the one you saw was definitely a lot more mean spirited, and I'm like, that's. Yeah, it's not great. Although I do love that Jack is trying to not drink because Avery is pregnant.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm an alcoholic." And I was like, "This is such a depressing episode." Like, Jesus Christ. It's the live episode where Jack discovers he's an alcoholic, and everyone forgets Liz's 40th birthday, and she can't decide if she wants to commit to a relationship. I'm like, it's they play it as so funny, but it's really depressing.
It is. It really is. But I will say that the visual gag of him first asking Jenna, I'm hoping that the jokes are the same, but asking Jenna if she's drank today, and she's like, no. I mean, I had a bottle after dinner, and he can I smell your breath? And she's like, I thought you'd never ask. She is so honored that he wants to smell, and she sticks his nose basically in her mouth to smell the alcohol wafting out of there. It's such a funny visual gag.
It's so funny, and it's just oh boy.
And you got the one of the John, so the commercials are different, and you got the John Hamm commercial where he gets a serial killer hand for replacement on his hook, right?
Yes, and it's a gross rotting hand that grabs him by the balls. What is going on? What is happening?
The one on my version is it's a woman's hand that is like obsessed with touching him. And like it like starts going down her body. He's like, "No, Marjorie, no." And you're like, "I'm so tired. Please take off your rings."
Wow. Also, I think my favorite part of this whole thing was Tracy wanting to incorporate breaking into the show, and he like purposely tries to be funny, and then you have Jenna who's like, "I didn't even break when she died in front of me on stage when we were in Pippin," and I honked. The laugh I let out, the laugh I loofed when that came, I honked like a goose. It was just, and she goes, "I will do a nip slip," and she kept saying nip slip.
I will slip the nip.
I will slip a nip.
The big one.
The big one. And it's just like, it's incredible. And I love it. I do love how they play with like ways to fuck with live television. Like, I really do enjoy that.
I think it is such an inventive episode because of them using the format of 30 Rock, but doing it live, like the concessions they have to make, or like using Julie Louis-Dreyfus as like a stand-in for Liz. And I love the line, I hope it's in yours as well, where Jack's like, "How come you look better in your memory?" And she's like, "Because I have Seinfeld money."
Yep. Yep.
But I love the way that because it literally was filmed live twice that night, on air.
Nuts.
So like no room for screw ups. And the one I saw, Tracy does screw up a couple times in his dialogue without trying to. And the one you saw, he actually says that the Grizz part where like he's talking about how he laughed at Grizz's play and it was Angels in America.
Yes.
He screws it up on the West Coast one, but yeah, it's literally live, and the things they do to make it feel like a 30 Rock episode, I just think it's so inventive and fun and unique.
It was interesting to see how they translated it to the live format. For sure. Where do we go next in season 5?
Okay, so we are going to episode 6, Gentleman's Intermission, which has her father coming to stay with her and a slutty old man. And then episode 7, Liz's dad.
Oh boy.
And then episode 7, Brooklyn Without Limits, which I honestly think it basically presaged our current political climate.
Huh. Okay. Well then.
So that's what we have to look forward to next week. But who are we chatting with on Monday, Mary Beth?
So on Monday we are chatting with, she's done so much. Author, film festival programmer, and founder, writer, and so much more, Heidi Honeycutt. We are chatting with her about her new book, I Spit on Your Celluloid, The History of Women Directing Horror Movies. And we find out why the Twilight Zone episode Living Doll, aka Talkie Tina, terrified her growing up.
Yeah. This is a good one.
So, listeners, you've heard from us. We want to hear from you. Have you watched any of the TV stuff that we watched this week and have thoughts? Do you have anything else that we should be covering? Let us know by sending us an email at scarredforlifepodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach us on social media. I am on Twitter at mbmcandrews and on Instagram at mb.mcandrews.
And I'm a Gaily Dreadful everywhere.
And of course, follow the podcast on social. We are at Scarred Podcast on Twitter and Blue Sky, and at Scarred for Life Podcast on Instagram.
And I got the hiccups. And because of that, please don't forget to review, rate, and subscribe. And if you want to help support us, we do have a Patreon.
Thank you to Eric Power for our artwork. Thank you to Sean Keller for our music. Thank you everyone for listening. Please stay safe out there. Most importantly, stay creepy.
And until next time.